very disappointing result the weekend, a point taken, but I doubt very much that comes as consolation on this occasion.
Yeah, super disappointing. I think, look, it's always tough to go on the road and play a team, especially in second place and the way that Bedford are going. But looking largely at ourselves, we're very disappointed with how we handled the game. I think physically we just weren't at the races and we didn't feel present physically for a large part of that game, and that sort of transferred into a lot of sort of set piece areas and collision. But look, we are disappointed, but we've had some very honest and open conversations this week. We've tried to take the work-ons from it and be really clear about what does progress look like for us this week, because we've got a couple of big games left that we need to win, especially games at home that are important results for us to go the right way. So we've had some good conversations, we've done a bit of reflection, and we think we've found some fixes that are going to have an impact on the weekend.
And in terms of their work-ons, I'd imagine that discipline and the maul were two of the major issues to focus on from last week. And I know that's something that you take great pride in preparing the team. We've just seen the session there. It was a spicy one, and that's given us some focus this week. Yeah,
I think we were carrying a lot of hurt after the weekend, so the only way to get the hurt out really is to volumise it. So we've been getting through a lot of reps, we've done a lot of review, we've been very self-critical of where we clearly went wrong. We've done a lot of repetition in those areas to give ourselves the best stimulus we can. I think defensively we've got to be more physical and we've got to be more calm in those key moments where we've got to regain control of the game. And then in terms of our maul, that was especially disappointing for us after, I guess, we thought was a pretty strong showing in that area against Scottish. So we've had to not go back to the drawing board, but look at critically at where that needs to be better, have a couple of conversations individually and collectively. Were we connected? Were we in the right place? So as you say, we've had some spicy sessions, particularly today, and we'll top it off again tomorrow, but we need to arrive elevated for the game on the weekend.
A few changes this week as ever, a few bumps and bruises. Arthur Relton and Sol Moody miss out. Robin Wedlake and Harry Hockin coming in though is two welcome boosts.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the two guys who've, to be fair to them, have had quite a long run of involvement in the season. They've been pretty consistent starters for us, so it's unfortunate for them to take a knock, but hopefully we'll be able to rehab them and get them back as quickly as we can for the remaining games. But as you say, the two guys that are coming in, they've been on the sideline for a little while looking for an opportunity, wanting to be involved, so we've been trying to get them back into that starting lineup, getting them back into the reps as quickly as possible and reintegrating them over the last couple of days. But the same message has gone to them as has gone to everyone else. We have to be better collectively, not just the new guys coming in, and we've got to show a reaction on the game of the weekend.
Another new face into the squad as well, the shape of Will Beckinsale, a Cornish lad from Exeter with really decent experience in the Premiership and Europe, so I'm sure he'll be an excellent addition to the squad while he's here.
Yeah, he's a very welcome addition to us. As you say, he's very experienced at a very high level and has a good local following, which would be good for the club, for the team. But from our perspective, it's really good to add some experience to the group and add some new skills to it in different positions. So it'll be a case for us of trying to get him, as I say, with the rest of the guys, integrated in really quickly, give him the best opportunity to perform well and give him some good minutes on the weekend.
Cambridge sit at the bottom of the pile. That always presents a banana skin, I should say, and it certainly did earlier on in the seasons. They bloodied our nose, and something we won't have forgotten about.
Yeah, we've spoken about it a couple of times this week where we felt we got turned over in a pretty disappointing manner there as well. So we've had a decent enough performance against Scottish, a really disappointing performance on the weekend. So now we're looking to level and outperform both of those on the weekend. We need to get a reaction in terms of output and a reaction in terms of scoreline. So for us, there's a bit of trying to make up for that first result and definitely trying to make up for what we saw on the weekend. So we want to see a strong team performance.
And a Sunday fixture, we've seen the fans call for them. Hopefully they turn out in their numbers and get behind the boys at the weekend.
Yeah, it's been a while since we played any Sunday rugby, so we've had to tweak our week a little bit, and it might put us under a little bit of pressure next week to get ready. But look, we've embraced the change to the flow of the week. We've tried to be innovative in how we've approached it. So the boys are training very well. They're training hard. They're training physically. So we hope that that change in structure isn't going to cause us any trouble, and we can still hit the ground running on Sunday.